We had a ton of surprises in the college football season this year. Here are my top 5 surprises during the season. Number 5, we have Kyle Whittingham's resignation and subsequent hiring at Michigan. Now, this move isn't surprising when you look at the fact that Kyle Whittingham was out of a job and the Michigan job was open. He seems like a perfect fit at Michigan. Going into the season, I don't think anybody thought that the Michigan job would be open or that Kyle Whittingham would be out of a job. Kyle Whittingham is from Utah. He's been coaching at Utah as a head coach since 2005. He won a Mountain West Conference and took Utah to the Pac-12, where he won not one but 2 Pac-12 conference championships. Whittingham took Utah from a group of 5 school to a Power 5 championship. I really thought Kyle Whittingham would have stayed a Ute for the rest of his career, retired a Ute, then had a statue built of him in front of the stadium. Number 4, we got Mike Gundy being fired, and yes, Oklahoma State was terrible this year, but I don't think they would have been as bad had they not fired Mike Gundy. They still would have been bad, but not as bad. But Mike Gundy was another coach that you thought just had a long time at Oklahoma State and would retire as a Cowboy. Mike Gundy also took the head coaching job for Oklahoma State in 2005. He won them a Big 12 title and went to 2 more Big 12 conference championship games. And for a program like Oklahoma State, who's not a blue blood and not traditionally one of the best teams in the Big 12, that's pretty good. It really seems like Mike Gundy had at least earned the right to retire at the end of the season and not be fired in the middle of the season. At number 3, we got the rise, fall, and rise again of Arch Manning. Arch Manning came in last year and looked really good for Texas. He opened the season as the Heisman favorite and then just looked horrible in the first half of the season. The mechanics were awful, and we all remember this when he was grimacing in pain while throwing the ball. Every week during the first half of the season, we were asking, what's wrong with Arch Manning? At the back half of the season, he actually started looking like Arch Manning did last year, and we all thought Arch Manning could look like. It's going to be really interesting to see if Arch Manning continues that next year, or if he goes back to being terrible in the first half. At number 2, we have just how bad Penn State was. Penn State started the season ranked number 2 in the AP poll. They had Drew Aller coming back. They had a team that was supposed to finally get over the hump and win a national championship, or at least compete for a national championship. Penn State would lose in week 4 to Oregon at home in their whiteout game in a double overtime game against a good Oregon team, but the next week, they lost to a bad UCLA team. They then fired James Franklin in the middle of the season and then lost their next 4 games in a row. Drew Aller did get hurt during the season, but even with him getting hurt, you watched this team play and thought, how the hell were they ever ranked number 2? And at number 1, we have Indiana, and not just the fact that the losingest program in college football history won a national championship, but just how good Indiana was this year. Indiana absolutely dominated teams in the playoffs, dominating Alabama and Oregon, but they only had 4 games that were decided by 1 possession this year. And really the only knock you can give this team is that they only beat Penn State by 3, but that game was at Penn State, and how crazy is it that the biggest knock you can give a team is still a win? And there's my top 5 biggest surprises of the season. Let me know in the comments if I missed any surprises, if there was a bigger surprise that I forgot to talk about. And make sure to like and follow if you like college football content.